Okay, so you're tuned in because you're thinking bigger,
Hmm.
right? Thinking about your income.
Yeah.
And specifically, hitting that seven-figure number, earning over $1 million.
Hmm.
We literally just walked out of this fantastic coaching session, and today's deep dive, well, it's all about unpacking those real estate principles that can actually make that happen for you.
Exactly. And, on a timeline that genuinely works for your life, your situation.
Right, not some cookie-cutter approach.
Definitely not. And the session, it wasn't pushing some, get-rich-quick thing either. It was much more foundational.
Yeah, solid stuff. Understanding the why, the when, and the how of really building that wealth in real estate sustainably.
That's the key word, sustainable.
And what really jumped out at me from that call were these core actionable things you can actually do.
Like what?
Well, we're going to get into it, but like the power of setting a really strong big why, that motivation piece,
Oh, absolutely fundamental.
and the discipline, and it is discipline of time blocking that came up again and again.
Non-negotiable, really.
Totally. And then how a strategic business plan, especially one grounded in that millionaire real estate agent model, the MREA stuff.
Yeah, how that ties it all together.
Exactly. So hopefully you'll get some light bulb moments today, a clearer path maybe.
Yeah, and what's great is how these aren't just abstract ideas. They talked about them as real tools, things you
Yeah.
apply consistently.
Practical tools.
Yeah, practical. And it's all connected, your motivation, how you structure your time, your overall strategy. It all works together.
Okay, so let's start at the beginning. That foundation piece, your big why, and that longer term vision.
Right. The coaching today really hit hard on that idea of building wealth over time in real estate, that get rich slowly mindset.
Get rich slowly. I like that.
Yeah.
It's not about grabbing every shiny object, is it? It's about building something solid, something that lasts.
Precisely.
Yeah.
And crucial to that is your personal timeline. The session had us thinking about our own 4-year financial goals.
4 years, yeah.
Where are you right now? What do you really want to achieve in that next chunk of time? It's got to be personal.
Yeah, because everyone's circumstances are different. Your life stage, your commitments.
Exactly. Your goals need to reflect your reality.
And that 4-year window, that really clicked for me too. Yeah. Because let's face it, the market goes in cycles, right? The economy too.
Mm-hmm. Always ups and downs.
So thinking in a 4-year block, it kind of helps you ride out those bumps, those adjustments. Keeps the focus long term. You're playing the long game.
You absolutely are. It's recognizing that, serious wealth in this business, it's usually not a sprint. It's more like a marathon.
Yeah. Requires that steady effort, understanding those dynamics.
Over time, exactly.
Okay.
Okay.
So you've got this powerful why driving you. You're thinking long-term 4-year chunks. What's next? It's got to be action.
Right.
And that's where time blocking just becomes, well, essential. The coaching session today, they really hammered this. Structuring your days, your weeks, intentionally.
Yeah, they did. And what was interesting was the specific focus they recommended.
Which is
Aiming for 4 meaningful conversations every day.
4 meaningful ones, not just calls,
Right.
but conversations.
Right. And the goal from those 4, to build at least 2 solid relationships.
Okay, 2 solid relationships a day. Now 4 conversations.
Hmm?
Maybe that doesn't sound like a huge number initially.
Maybe not.
But you think about the compound effect of that, right? 2 real relationships built every day. That adds up.
It adds up fast. You're building a serious network, a really strong database over time.
That consistent daily action, that's the engine, isn't it, for growth?
It absolutely is. And, it ties right into that real estate principle. Quality often comes from quantity.
Gary Keller talked about that a lot, right?
He does. You need to connect with enough people, just sort of sift through to find those folks who are actually, ready to make a move.
It's partly a numbers game.
It is, to some degree, but always with that focus on the connection, not just the number.
Right. And the coaching call, it clarified something else I think trips people up sometimes. Those conversion rates.
Yeah, the 3-5% number.
Yeah. You hear that, and it can feel a bit discouraging. Like, is that all?
It can feel low for sure.
But they pointed out, and this was a great point, that rate, it actually kind of mirrors the natural market turnover.
Right.
About 5% of homes sell each year anyway.
That's such a key perspective shift, isn't it?
Totally.
It means a 5% conversion. Well, it might not mean you're doing badly. It might just reflect the market's pace.
Which then puts the emphasis back on
Building that database. The bigger your pool, the more that 5% actually yields.
Exactly. The math they showed was, frankly, a bit staggering, like 700 leads.
Yeah, 700 people in your database.
Even at that 5% annual rate over 4 years, you're looking at a serious number of transactions. That's how you get to that $1 million income target,
It makes the goal feel much more tangible, more mathematical.
which underlines why you need to be constantly adding people to that database
Right.
consistently.
Mm.
And the coaching offered a really practical way to do that, and honestly, a more enjoyable way.
Which was?
Identifying your tribe, your interest groups.
Ah, okay. Connecting through shared interests.
Yeah. So the question for you,
Yeah.
listening, is where do you naturally connect? Where do you like spending time?
The session gave some great examples. Hobbies, like vintage radios was one they mentioned, or motorcycles.
Yeah, or golf,
Mm.
art classes, church groups, volunteering.
Whatever it is for you, the idea is to tap into places where you already have some common ground, some genuine passion.
It just makes so much more sense, doesn't it? Instead of that constant grind of cold outreach.
Yeah, which nobody really enjoys.
Right, you're just nurturing relationships and communities you're already part of or want to be part of.
It feels more authentic, more
Yeah.
sustainable in the long run, and way more fun, let's be honest.
Way more fun.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
But the coaching also didn't shy away from the fact that, well, doing this consistently, having those conversations day in, day out, it can be tough.
Oh, for sure. There are mental hurdles.
Yeah.
Big ones sometimes.
Definitely. That fear of, hearing no.
The 95 no's, they called it, the fear of rejection. It can paralyze you if you let it.
It really can. But the session, it stressed how crucial it is to push past that. Because those conversations, that's the lifeblood, that's the fuel for the whole thing.
You got to have the conversations to build the relationships, to grow the database, to hit the goal.
Exactly. It all links back. And tying it back to that big financial goal, the $1 million, it really boils down to that consistent effort, building your network through meaningful interactions.
So the path they laid out on the call was pretty clear. Connect with, say, 4 people daily, aim for 2 solid relationships from that.
Right. Do that consistently for a year.
And boom, you could realistically have around 700 contacts in your database.
And then the math kicks in again, that
Yeah.
5% conversion.
Leads to a solid number of transactions each year. And they did also remind us, importantly, to think about that million as net, right? Factoring in your costs, your taxes.
Crucial point. It's the net income you're aiming for.
So, okay, what are some practical steps? Things you can do like today?
Well, obviously, that consistent outreach, making those daily conversations happen, making them a priority.
Not just something you fit in if you have time.
No, it has to be scheduled, time blocked, and then actively getting out there.
Attending events? Sure. But maybe even more powerful, like we said, participating in those tribe communities.
Yeah, showing up where your people are.
And I loved that really simple tip from the coaching call.
Yeah.
Set a visual reminder.
Oh, yeah. Like what?
Like, just put a note on your phone background or your computer screen. Add X contacts today. Something simple to keep it top of mind.
That's smart. Simple but effective. And leveraging technology, too, that came up.
Right, the CR.
Yeah, they mentioned the AI summary feature in Command, how it can help you manage that growing database, maybe spot potential buyers or sellers more easily.
Using the tools to work smarter,
Yeah.
not just harder.
Exactly. It's about enhancing your effort.
And just circling back one more time to connecting through shared interests. It really does feel like the path of, I don't know, least resistance, but also most enjoyment.
It does. Building real connections, not just transactional ones. That's how you build a business that lasts.
And guess what? All of this, it lines up perfectly with the MREA model.
It really does. The coaching session drew those lines very clearly.
All those practical steps we talked about,
Yeah.
they map directly to the MREA pillars.
Setting goals? Check.
Time blocking critical activities.
Understanding your deep motivation, your big why? Check.
It's all there. The MREA model, it really emphasizes being, sociable, network focused.
Which is exactly what this strategy of daily conversations and connecting through your tribe is all about.
It just fits perfectly.
So really, when you boil it all down, that journey to earning, in excess of $1 million, it's not some hidden secret.
No magic bullet.
No.
Yeah.
It's about applying these fundamental principles consistently, strategically.
Starting with defining that big goal, that financial target, and the time frame that actually fits your life.
Then being almost ruthless about time blocking for those daily conversations, prioritizing relationship building.
Over just chasing the next deal.
Right. which then naturally leads to growing that database,
Yeah.
often starting with those genuine connections you make through things you actually enjoy.
Yeah, through your passions.
Ultimately, like the coaching session really drove home, it's that consistent daily commitment to building those connections. That's the path.
That's the pathway to serious income growth in this business. A
Yeah.
clear, sustainable path.
Yep.
So here's a thought I want to leave you with. Really chew on this. How can you, starting today, implement that strategy? 4 meaningful conversations. Well, it's just one tribe, one interest group you could connect with based on something you're genuinely passionate about.
Good questions to ponder.
And really check back in with your big why. Let that motivation fuel your commitment to actually doing these things day after day. Thanks for taking this deep dive with us. Now, seriously, go make a connection. Start one of those conversations.